This week on the New Leadership Normal, we're discussing the secret leadership key. We operate from a very straightforward but difficult to achieve goal when we work with you as a leader. We're looking for a championship culture and an ability to achieve sustainable growth. We won't go into great detail on the goal right now, but if you can have a winning culture in your organization that allows you to continuously grow as an organization, I think we can all agree that that's a good thing. A foundational basis for our New Leadership Normal work is an equation, and that equation is the secret leadership key. The equation is 90-10 to 60-40. This equation depicts movement and transition. We're moving from 90-10 to 60-40. Let's quickly define these numbers. 90-10 represents the typical ratio that most leaders apply to their work. 90 indicates that 90% of the leader's time, their thoughts, their actions, really their entire being is spent on running their department. 90-10, 90% of the leader's being is spent on running their department, and 10% of their being is spent on activities that lead the company overall. 90-10 is typical for most. Now, there are some jobs that are designed to cut across the whole organization, so there are some exceptions, but 90-10 is pretty typical. Many leaders claim I'm being generous, and their ratio is really 99-1. Again, we found that 90-10 is pretty typical. What we're doing with the New Leadership Normal is shifting this ratio from 90-10 to 60-40. 60% of the leader's effort is spent running the department, and a full 40% of the leader's being is spent leading the company overall. Let's pause for a moment to recognize that if you change your approach to 40% of your efforts being focused outside your department and for the company overall, we're talking about massive change here. There are a ton of details to deal with when you move from 90-10 to 60-40. In the minute or so we have left, let's list just a few of the shifts we see in an organization when we begin moving towards 60-40. First, delegation shifts toward growth. We're not just distributing work, but rather using daily activities as growth opportunities, and we're managing this process closely. Empowerment happens naturally, without a buzzword campaign. Engagement increases as people stretch their capabilities and a global picture comes into focus. And your job as a leader becomes more interesting as the view changes and the tasks are different. Also, more checks and balances come from the increased engagement rather than from the rule book. Opportunities emerge for you as a leader and for your team. Doing the right thing happens more often, and that's difficult given the expedient and safe thing being such an obvious choice. Finally, as we make decisions as an organization, there are many more options and choices available in a 60-40 world. Moving to a 60-40 world has many more benefits. We talked about just a few this week. The shift to 60-40 is the secret leadership key. At this early point, you have to trust me on that. But give it some thought. Stick with us. A couple questions for you. Where do you fall on the 90-10 to 60-40 spectrum? And what will happen in your organization as it moves towards 60-40? I'll leave you with these two big questions. Thanks so much for being here. If you missed us last week, click on the video to your right. Join us for more next week on the New Leadership Normal. Will I see you on Saturday morning? Each Saturday, our email conversation focuses on you as a leader. Click the link on the top right of your screen or visit jimcanterucci.com. It's free. See you soon.